Hi, it's Myra Dill with EFit Nutrition in Bermuda, and today we're talking about dining out. So we've talked about fuel, and we've talked about pleasure. Now we're going to talk about the enjoyment of fuel and pleasure together. So what we're looking at is when you go to a restaurant, you've got some easy choices to make and some difficult ones. Let's start with the easy choices. What we do when we go to a restaurant is we can choose most of the time where we sit. If you're looking to eat less, choose a seat by the window or choose a seat outside. There's actual studies that show that eating by the window or eating outside, people make healthier choices versus eating in a dark corner or in a bunket. So that's number one. Number two is actually knowing your menu. So with COVID, a lot of menus have been online. So you can actually look at the menu before you go and decide what you want for your healthy choices, for your fuel choices, and your pleasure choices before you actually arrive at the restaurant. Why do we do that? Because our friends are massive influencers. So once you get to the restaurant, you can also choose where you're sitting with your friends. And usually what I recommend to my clients, the person across from you and the person to your left are going to be your biggest influencers when they're making food choices. So I usually recommend to my clients, be the first person to order. So if you're the first person to order, you're less likely to be influenced by the person across from you and the person to the side of you. Why does that matter? Because if I was to go into a restaurant and I already knew what I wanted, but my friend to my left or my friend across from me said, oh, let's have some calamari and do you want to split X, Y, and Z? All of a sudden, all the choices that you thought you were going to make can possibly go out the window. So ordering first allows you to set that stage. What about alcohol? So if you've got to choose if you're the designated driver or you're having an enjoyable night with a glass of wine or alcohol, you can still set the stage. So one of the simplest tricks that we look at is actually where we place the alcohol. First thing you want to do is order a glass of water, still or sparkling. Put that glass of water directly above your knife so it's evenly with your right hand, and then your wine is going to go behind that. So I've got to go through my water to actually get to my wine. That allows your brain to have a subconscious trigger that you're always drinking water as opposed to drinking wine. So if I put my wine in front of me, I'm going to drink my wine more like it's water and possibly forget about keeping hydrated. So it's a really good reason for doing that. It's a really simple trick that I've used many, many times with clients that works really successfully. Last thing that you need to think about is where you're going to have fun at dinner. So is the fun going to be your alcohol, or is the fun going to be dessert, or is it going to be alcohol and dessert? So a lot of people say to me, Myra, is it better to go out and have alcohol, or is it better to go out and have dessert on my fun days? My suggestion to you is actually to have a plan. So if it's going to be alcohol, then you're basically going to say no to dessert, or think about sharing a dessert, or thinking about having less on your plate. So how do I have less on my plate? If you're ordering an appetizer, a second course, and dessert with your wine, think about ordering an appetizer and an appetizer as opposed to an entree, or an appetizer and ask the maitre d' or the chef if they can do an appetizer portion of the entree. All we're looking at is having moderation. This is just applying to if you're trying to maintain or lose weight. If you just want to have an all-out night, you've rewarded yourself, you can go and have an all-out evening. What about desserts? So desserts, I usually say to people, the first bite is the most important part of dessert. Oftentimes after that, the wow factor is gone. All I'm asking people to do is be present when they have dessert. So if you're going to have the dessert, enjoy the moment and have your dessert. It may be that after 3 bites, you don't want any more and you can share it with somebody, or you can take the dessert home, or you're enjoying it so much that you actually just enjoy the dessert, and that's okay too. Remember, we're eating for fuel and we're eating for pleasure. The secret is to containing the pleasure part of it to 15, maximum 20% of your day or week. Hope that helps you guys eating out. Enjoy Bermuda's great restaurants.